Hello, welcome back. Let's read some more. That's a long one. I have some video in my language Danish about tanks, main battle tanks. It's 4 p.m. Freezing at the beach. My jacket on. This is my old JVC camcorder. It can take more than 2.5 hours. So let's get started. Then I will. So that's not the normal camcorder. I like to record with other camcorder, of course. The screen is closer to my eyes. But this camcorder record the text much better. But I have read it like 1 year ago, but we have this stupid war in Ukraine. And they have all this many different kind of Leopard 1 and Leopard 2, all kind of Soviet Union T-72, T-62, T-9, T-50, all kind of Russian old tanks. There's a lot of different kind of main battle tanks. Like from United Kingdom, the Challenger, and the American Abrams, but France, Israel, to many countries, and China have own tanks. So I like to read it again, so to download a new copy.
Leopard 2. Leopard 2. The Leopard 2A7, who is the latest version of the type main battle tank. Place of origin West Germany. Service history in service 1979 present. 1. Used by sea operators. War in Afghanistan. Syrian civil war. Russo-Ukrainian war. Production history. Designer Kraus Mafia. Designed 1970s. Manufacturer Kraus Mafia. Maskinenbau KIEL. Rheinmetall, 2. Santa Barbara Systems. Haglunds AB. Contravs. Hellenic Vehicle Industry. Unit cost 2A6, second-hand Euro 5.74 million, FI 2007, 3, 2A7 plus, 13 euros 15 million, FI 2019, 4, 2A8, 29 million euros. 2023, 5. Produced 1979. Present no build 3600, 6. The Leopard 2 is a third-generation German main battle tank, MBT. Developed by Kraus Mafia in the 1970s, the tank entered service in 1979 and replaced earlier Leopard 1 as the main battle tank of the West German Army. Various iterations of the Leopard 2 continue to be operated by the armed forces of Germany, as well as 13 other European countries, and several non-European countries, including Canada, Chile, Indonesia, and Singapore. Some operating countries have licensed the Leopard 2 design for local production and domestic development. There are two main development tranches of the Leopard 2. The first encompasses tanks produced up to Leopard 2A4 standard and are characterized by the vertically faced turret armor. The second tranche from Leopard 2A5 onwards has an angled, arrow-shaped, turret applique armor, together with other improvements. The main armament of all Leopard 2 tanks is a smoothbore 120mm cannon made by Rheinmetall. This is operated with a digital fire control system, laser rangefinder, and advanced night vision and sighting equipment. The tank is powered by a V12 twin-turbo diesel engine made by MTU Friedrich Schaeffler. In the 1990s, the Leopard 2 was used by the German Army on peacekeeping operations in Kosovo. In the 2000s, Dutch, Danish and Canadian forces deployed the Leopard 2 tanks in the war in Afghanistan as part of their contribution to the International Security Assistance Force. In the 2010s, Turkish Leopard 2 tanks saw action in Syria. In 2023, Ukrainian Leopard 2 tanks saw action in the Russo-Ukrainian War. 11. History. Development. Even as the Leopard 1 was just entering service, the West German military was interested in producing an improved tank in the next decade. This resulted in the start of the MBT-70 development in cooperation with United States beginning in 1963. 12. However, variants. See variants specifications. Mass 206, 62.3 tons, 68.7 short tons, 207V, 66.5 tons, 73.3 short tons, length 206, 9.97 meters, 32.7 feet, gun forward, width 206, 3.75 m, 12.3 feet, height 206, 3 m, 9.8 feet, crew for armor 2A6, third generation composite, including high hardness steel, tungsten and plastic filler with ceramic component. Main armament 1RH120L /44 120mm or RH120L /55 120mm Rheinmetall RH120 1. 42 rounds. Secondary armament 27.62mm MG3A1 1 or 27.62mm FN mag, 4,750 rounds. Engine MTU MB873 Ka. 501 liquid-cooled V12 twin-turbo diesel engine 1100 kW at 2600 RPM power /weight 206, 17.8 kW /T, 24.2 PS /T, 207V, 16.6 kW /T, 22.6 PS /T. Transmission Wrench HSWL354 suspension torsion bar suspension fuel capacity 1,200 liters, 264 imperial gallons, 317 US gallons, 7, operational range road, 340 kilometers, 210 mi. Cross country, 220 kilometer, 140 mi. Average, 280 kilometers, 170 mi, 8. Maximum speed 70 km /h, 43 miles per hour, 9, 10. Already in 1967 it became questionable whether the MBT-70 would enter service at any time in the foreseeable future. Therefore, the German government issued the order to research future upgrade options for the Leopard 1 to the German company Porsche in 1967. 13. This study was named Vergoldete Leopard, Gilded Leopard, and focused on incorporating advanced technology into the Leopard design. The projected upgrades added an autoloader, a coaxial autocannon and an independent commander's periscope. 14. The anti-air machine gun could be operated from inside the vehicle and a TV surveillance camera was mounted in an extendable mast. The shape of the turret and hull was optimized using cast steel armor, while the suspension, transmission, and engine exhaust vents were improved. 15. Prototype development. Following the end of the Gilded Leopard study in 1967, the West German government decided to focus on the Experimentalentwicklung, experimental development, in a feasibility study and to develop new components for upgrading the Leopard 1 and for use on a future main battle tank program. 14. At first 25 million DM were invested. But after the industry came to the conclusion that with such a low budget the development of the two projected testbeds was not possible, a total of 30 to 32 million DM was invested. The experimental development was contracted to the company Krauss Mafia, but with the obligation to cooperate with Porsche for the development of the chassis and with women for the development of the turret. 16. Two prototypes with different components were built with the aim of improving the conception of Leopard 1 in such a way that it would match the firepower requirements of the MBT-70. A high first hit probability 8 ranges of 2,000 meters, 6,600 feet, and the ability to accurately engage targets on the move using a computerized fire control system were the main goals of experimental development. The resulting vehicles were nicknamed Keiler, Tusker. Two prototypes, ET-01 and ET-02, of the Keiler were built in 1969 and 1970, both of them being powered by the MB-872 engine. 16. A Leopard 2 PT-15 with 105 smoothbore gun. A Leopard 2 prototype, 1983, the Leopard 2 T-14 mod. With the modified turret housing composite on the MBT-70 was a revolutionary design, but after large cost overruns and technological problems, Germany withdrew from the project in 1969. After unsuccessful attempts at saving the MBT-70 by conceptual changes in order to eliminate the biggest issue, the driver being seated in the turret, it became clear in late 1969 that Germany would stop the binational development. 15. The Assistant Secretary of the Military Procurement Division of the German Ministry of Defense suggested reusing as many technologies developed for the MBT-70 as possible in a further program which was nicknamed Eber, due to his being named Eberhard. The Eber used a modified MBT-70 turret and hull, with driver being seated in the hull. Only a wooden mock-up was made. 1 year later, a choice was made to continue the development based on the earlier Keiler project of the late 1960s, instead of finishing the development of the Eber. In 1971, the name of the design was determined as Leopard 2, with the original Leopard retroactively becoming the Leopard 1, and Paul Werner Krapke became the project officer of the Leopard 2 program. 17. Originally two versions were projected, the gun-armed Leopard 2K and the Leopard 2FK, which would be armed with the XM150 gun forward/launcher weapon of the MBT-70. 18. In 1971, 17 prototypes were ordered but only 16 hulls were built as production of hull PT-12 was cancelled. 10 were ordered initially before another 7 were ordered. The 17 turrets were designated T1 to T17, and the hulls were designated PT1 to PT11 and PT13 to PT17. To test a larger number of components and concepts, each prototype was fitted with components not found on other prototypes. 10 of the turrets were equipped with 105 smoothbore guns and the other 7 prototypes were equipped with a 120mm smoothbore gun. 18. 19. Hulls PT11 and PT17 were fitted with a high-drop pneumatic suspension based on the MBT-70 design. 18. The running gears of these two hulls had only 6 road wheels. Different types of auxiliary power units, APUs, were mounted in the prototypes. All turrets were equipped with a machine gun for air defense, except the turret mounted on PT11, where a 20mm remotely operated autocannon was mounted. With the exception of hulls PT-07, PT-09, PT-15, and PT-17. All prototypes use it MB873 engine. The road wheels were taken from the MBT-70 and the return rollers from the Leopard 1.18. The prototypes were designed with a projected weight of MLC-50, which equals approximately 47.5 tons, 46.7 long tons, 52.4 short tons. The welded turret utilized spaced armor formed by two steel plates. 20. The prototypes were equipped with an EMS-12 optical rangefinder and fire control system, which later was adopted on the Leopard 1A4. In mid-1973 a new turret was designed by women, saving 1.5 tons, 1.7 short tons, in weight. 21. It was nicknamed the Spitzmore's term, shrew turret, due to the highly sloped front. This design was only possible with the new EMS-13 optical rangefinder, which required a base length of only 350 mm, 14 in. Instead of the previous 1720 mm, 68 in. 20. Based on experiences in the Yom Kippur War, a higher level of protection than the prototype's heavily sloped spaced armor was demanded in late 1973, and Spitzmore's term was never produced. 22. The weight limit was increased from MLC-50 to MLC-60, which equals approximately 55 tons, 54 long tons, 61 short tons. The T-14 turret was modified to test a new armor configuration, taking on a blockier-looking appearance as a result of using vertical modules of spaced multilayer armor. It was also used to test the new EMS-13 optical rangefinder. The modified T-14 turret was designated T-14 Mod. 22, and was fitted with a fully electric turret drive and stabilization system, which was developed jointly by General Electric and AEG Telefunken. American evaluation of Leopard 2 AV and XM-1 Abrams. In July 1973, German Federal Minister of Defense Georg Leber and his U.S. counterpart James R. Schlesinger agreed upon a higher degree of standardization in main battle tanks, being favorable to NATO. By integrating components already fully developed by German companies for the Leopard 2. The costs of XM-1 Abrams, U.S. prototype tank developed after the MBT-70, could be reduced. A German commission was sent to the U.S. to evaluate the harmonization of components between the XM-1 and Leopard 2. 23. However, under American law it was not possible for a public bidder to interfere in a procurement tender after a contract with intention of profits and deadline was awarded to private sector companies. 23. Leopard 2 prototype tested at the Yuma Proving Ground, September 1975. As a result, the modification of the Leopard 2 prototypes in order to meet the U.S. Army requirements was investigated. Following a number of further talks, a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, was signed on the 11th of December, 1974 between Germany and the US, which declared that a modified version of the Leopard 2 should be trialed by the US against their XM-1 prototypes. 24. After the Americans had bought and investigated prototype PT-07 in 1973. 25. The MOU obliged the Federal Republic of Germany to send a complete prototype, a hull, a vehicle for ballistic tests and a number of special ballistic parts to the US, where they would be put through US testing procedures for no additional costs. 26. The Leopard 2 AV, austere version, was based on the experiences of the previous Leopard 2 development. It was created in order to meet the US requirements and the latest protection requirements of German mod. The T-14 mod turret was used as the base for the Leopard 2 AVS turret, but meeting their desired level of protection for the hull required several attempts until the final ballistic trials on 23 to 26 June 1976. 27. following the US preference of laser rangefinders. The turret of prototype PT-19 was fitted with a laser rangefinder developed together with the American company Hughes. 28. In comparison with the earlier Leopard 2 prototypes, the fire control system was simplified by replacing the